So I was looking online for how to rip the tail feathers out. As you can see, I have some here. But I was a little disappointed that no one did a YouTube video, but a lot of the videos I came across, they were more or less hunting these specific birds for like the meat, because the meat here is a really good meat. I found it as roadkill. I didn't realize it was as fresh as it was. If I would have cleaned it and dressed it, I would have been able to cook it up for whatever reason. But because I don't know the source of this bird, I didn't want to do that and possibly get anything from the bird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the feet, the feathers. It's actually a very long process to pluck feathers, so I may or may not keep all of them, but I'd like to get a good portion of these good ones. And I'm going to keep the wings. I'm going to probably not keep this one. This poor bird was hit by a car. It got a head injury, so I'm assuming it died rather quickly. So to pull a tail feather, you want to separate it. They're kind of bunched together and they're big at the base, so it's like they're in this tight little space. So you want to get as close to the skin as possible, and you want to rip pretty hard. Now granted, you have to be careful because the skin is very thin and it rips easy, even when I'm trying to pull up a couple of these smaller ones. So sometimes you get like meat on it. Give me a few more tries. This is like my first attempt at doing this. There's like a method to it. I'm trying to preserve as many as possible. So I made sure that the ones that were already ruined, I went for first. So if I happen to ruin them, it's no big deal. Alright, see, that one came out nice and clean. It requires you to wrap your finger and pull. See, I'm getting a little bit better at it. And then I suck. Okay, so almost got all of the tail feathers. That is cool. And I wouldn't suggest pulling more than one at a time because you will have a higher tendency of ripping the flesh. And then the way to kind of deal with that is you either cut it off, or like in this case, this is a pretty display as that is. So what I'm going to do is, because there's some flesh there, I'm going to put it in a dehydrator and put some salt on it and preserve it so that it'll be a nice little display. Maybe make a headdress for a doll, or I don't know. I'll do something with it. Okay, so the other part I didn't mention, and I just realized that, is when you have your fingers wrapped around the tail feather pretty well down here, you kind of want to pinch at the base so that you can kind of keep the tail and the skin and all of that to the bird, on the bird, whatever English words, and then kind of just keep going. Oh God. There we go. See, this bird, oh gosh, and I just watched a video that had this exact bird in it, and I forget what it was called. Field game, pheasant, maybe. Pheasant? No, whatever. Anyways, this, I believe, is a male bird. Male birds tend to look prettier. I have no idea how to preserve the wings. I'm just assuming that if I want to keep the wing, I should probably take some of these feathers away and then find... Oh, wow, that is really beautiful, man. God. I could cry because I'm so sad that this bird is dead, but this creature is so amazing. This is like emotionally stressful for me. just because I'm not a hunter. I don't eat meat, and I don't do this kind of thing, and it's kind of stressful for me. So there's the shoulder. Here's the first knuckle that they talked about in the video. So in the video, if you want to keep the wing after the first knuckle, it's just pretty much no meat. So they break it off here, and then they pluck these feathers. Which, gosh, look at these beautiful feathers. This creature, oh my goodness. Now, the front is pretty cool looking. Started working on the bottom earlier. But also, look at these pretty feathers here. Oh, it's just such a pretty bird. It's like all these really metallic looking feathers. And I can't wait to make a talisman out of it. I have one with, oh, poor bird. I snapped it right there. Okay. Now for the feet, they say to take a blade and go just below the first knuckle and then snap it. So, couldn't find my blade, so I'm going to put this video on pause. Maybe I can find it. I have this really nice blade a friend gave me that they use in Alaska for scaling fish in the freezing temperatures, and it's frickin' sharp as all get out. So let me see if I can find that. BRB!